lower they can go. And a stronger yuan against a weaker dollar means Chinese and U.S. officials may have to find something else to talk about. We'll have more on what to expect from this round of the strategic dialogue.
Singtel proudly presents the world's first Formula One night race. Be part of history. 2008 Formula One Singtel Singapore Grand Prix tickets are now available. Call 6567386738 or log on to singaporegp.sg to book your tickets now. Catch the action live and loud. A race like no other.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Francine Lachlan.
It's a kind of a different mixture, but
we'll continue to increase until this peak is reached.
The size of the response way beyond my expectations.
The west coast of the United States is still very strong.
With the right people and bring together a team.
For the Record, in association with ING Private Banking.
Winning is everything.
Whatever you do,
that was a
do
very
with
good
integrity.
We are headed in the right direction.
We are just starting on that.
We each have our
best
styles, our
We're falling short of the potential.
Our electronic sector is the biggest
giving better profit.
So it is going to be a very different world.
It's topical, it's compelling, it's exactly what you need to see every day. Bloomberg Voices at these times.
Watch Emerging Asia on Bloomberg Television. Getting in early on an emerging investment trend could lead to bigger payouts. Still, bigger rewards can come with bigger risks. How do you spot the latest trends in Asia without a crystal ball? We'll focus on Asia's developing economies, new industries and startup companies every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Bloomberg Live.
What will be the consequences of the increased food prices? That you will have an heightened awareness on government level that, you know, agriculture is not given. Agriculture is something that you have to invest, you have to research, you have to help people.
There are some positives to soaring food prices then, according to the chairman of Nestle there. But he also says high food prices are here to stay and could very likely go even higher.
I would tell you 10% is about energy prices, the increase of fuel prices. 10% would be 10 to 15% perhaps the change demand structure that we have, so demographics and the changing. I would say a third of it is due to the political decision of diverting food into biofuels. Another third has to do with another political decision.
Global food prices have risen 60% since the start of last year, leading the group of 8 nations to call it the biggest threat to the global economy. Malaysia's largest palm oil trader, Sime Darby, plans to broaden its business into other soft commodities as prices soar.
We'll continue with palm oil palm production. With all the policies related to sustainability that we exercise, but at the same time, we are also looking at other crops to identify them in where they are related to possibility of converting them into biofuel.
Beyond biofuels, Sime Darby will start to grow rice in the East Malaysian state of Sarawak, and the company is also ordering a review of its assets just 6 months after merging with rival growers. Amid a record number of announced acquisitions in Australia, 2 mining companies have just completed the largest deal of this year so far. Bloomberg's Heidi Cooch reports from Sydney.
Oz Minerals is an acronym, taking the O from Oxiana and merging it with the Z from Zinifex. Zinifex's $4 billion merger with Oxiana will create the world's second largest zinc producer. Oz Minerals will be headed by current Zinifex Chief Executive Andrew Michelmore, while Oxiana's founder and Managing Director Owen Hegarty will remain on the new company's board. In an interview with Bloomberg Television, Mr Michelmore said the merged company will have the size and momentum to grow more quickly.
We've got a lot of organic growth to do straight away with our teams. In addition, our development teams are looking at a number of possible acquisitions, doing the background work, and so we'll be able to combine those to prioritise those and identify the ones that really add value that we probably couldn't have done before, but now we can do as a bigger company.
Oz Minerals will have 4 operations in Australia and Asia, 3 near-term projects in development, and a war chest of about $2 billion, which Michelmore says will likely go towards acquisitions, with Oz Minerals looking to spend about $3 billion in the near term on acquiring strategic assets.
We still think there's value out there. Consolidation will continue, and the company, the Oz Minerals, be very much part of that. But as Andrew has also explained, it has to make sense. It has to add value. We want to be nimble, but we've also got to be rigorous in our evaluation of those opportunities.
There is one final hurdle with Australian regulators to make the final ruling on the merger this Friday. For Bloomberg News, I'm Heidi Cooch in Sydney.
Okay, back to the markets and a record losing streak in China. The CSI 300 is down for a 10th straight day. Our next guest isn't so positive on Chinese shares as well. Niku Hirachi says long-term it's still a negative trend on the mainland. Niku is CEO and founder of N1 Asset Management. Welcome back to the program, Niku. Now, I'm pretty curious about this because back in September, you were positive on Chinese stocks, as a lot of investors were. What has happened in 6 months, 8 months' time that it's become so negative?
I have to admit we were actually negative on the Chinese stock market even the whole year of 2007, and especially I recall in September or October 2007 we did call for a 30% correction.
But other investors were still positive.
Yes, they're very positive, and we're still seeing a majority of investors still positive. The reason why we think that the Chinese stock market was in for a long negative trend, and we still think this is going to continue, is simply because there's been coming too much liquidity into the markets. And we've seen the Chinese markets really being overvalued by far. I think it's a little bit the same term as if you look back in 2002, you could even ask any taxi driver in the US, he would be trading NASDAQ stocks. And it was basically the same last year, or even this year, in the beginning of this year, you would see an amazing amount of online accounts being opened and trading the Chinese stock market.
Okay, so how much lower can we go from here for these Chinese mainland shares?
It's always hard to say where's the bottom. What we think is over the next coming months, we do think we're going to see there a technical rebound, and we see maybe the Chinese stock market recovering a bit. However, for the long term, we still think that there is no clear decoupling theory from the Asian stock market, from the Asian markets, even including Japan, from the world economy, letting the US be number one, the main driver.
Right, and you're also suggesting that right now Asian stocks are in a technical rebound. Things aren't going to get any prettier in the third or fourth quarter.
No, for sure not. I mean, from our point of view, I don't think that we're going to see any upside surprises, I think, and we're expecting downside surprises. However, having said this, all turmoil where we still advise investors to stay out. Of course, there are some sectors or maybe some regions where people could still be making money.
Okay, stay out and do what with their money?
Put them into hedge funds. This is always, I think this is a good defensive play. It's a place where you can actually make profits in the current environment. And then wait till we really see where the economy is going and until we see some stability.
Okay, and what signs should they watch out for?
Well, first of all, I think we have to, really look into inflation worldwide and also look into commodities, but not only oil, as everybody's talking about, but also soft commodities. I mean, we're seeing corn at record highs. But what people also sometimes are not thinking about is that they take soft commodities and just thinking this is something you trade, and hedge funds and traders think this is something you can make money on. But people sometimes forget that this really affects the world economy. And it's not affecting people sitting in Hong Kong, in New York, or Frankfurt trading it. It's affecting the lowest economies of the world. Now, did you know that in the past few weeks we've seen 30 different countries always with riots and strikes due to 60% increase in soft commodities?
Yeah.
So I think this is worrying first signs.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary environment right now. Thank you for that. Niku Hirachi, N1 Asset Management. Up next here on Asia Business Tonight, we'll get expert insight on just what Chinese and U.S. officials are going to talk about.